So this is the first video which is going to deal with ways in which the government can intervene to correct market failure. This video is going to deal very briefly with subsidy. So we're going to look quickly at why you would use it and then how it would work. So a subsidy, the aim of a subsidy is to increase the production or consumption of a good. Okay, that is the key function. So why would a government want to do those things? Well, it would want to do those things if it was trying to address a market failure which caused either underproduction or underconsumption of that good to occur. So what sorts of failure would cause either of those things? Well, underproduction would be the case if there were positive externalities as a result of producing that good. Underconsumption would occur if there were merit effects as a result of consumption of that good. So that's the first thing we need to bear in mind, that a subsidy would be applied if the market failure is due to either positive externalities or if there are merit effects as a result of consumption. So let's have a think about what would actually happen and how these things would actually work. So if we start with our normal market diagram, okay, from micro, so we've got price on the vertical and quantity on the horizontal. Okay, as we have done, start with our standard demand and supply scissors, and we have our equilibrium point here. Okay, now this is our free market equilibrium. Okay, so this is the point that the market would reach naturally, which means that this is also the same as where the private costs and benefits lie. Now, what the problem that we have here is, as with all market failures, relates to the Q at the bottom here, because if you remember, we said on the previous slide that we would use a subsidy when the good is underproduced or underconsumed. What that means is that Q is too far left here. So left to the free market, Q is too low. What we need to do is we need to move Q to the right. We need to increase the amount of the good being consumed. So how does a subsidy help to achieve that? Well, subsidy affects the costs of production to the firm. And therefore it's going to affect the supply curve. Now, if the government offers subsidies to firms, that's going to make it cheaper for the firms to produce, i.e. it's going to reduce their costs of production and increase their willingness to supply at any given level of price. And the effect of that will be that supply will move to the right like this. And this will give us a new price, P1, and a new quantity, Q1. So the price of the good will fall. We will talk a little bit more about the extent to which that will happen in another video. But most importantly, we will get an increase in the Q value along this horizontal axis here. Now, if you remember, the market failure that we were addressing here was underproduction or underconsumption. So by imposing the subsidy and by shifting the supply curve to the right, the government has successfully managed to increase the level of the good being produced and consumed from Q to Q1, and therefore we hope that Q1 is nearer to the social optimum than Q, and we have reduced the market failure.